Hi and welcome. I'm trying to learn space science today. Is the space between stars and galaxies empty? And after we've done it, we're going to do wrist training. And if you participate in wrist training, then it's at your own risk. Now, is the space between stars and galaxies empty? To a human, the space between stars and galaxies looks empty. No, basically, I mean, if you look out basically into the sky and you see you have a sun, which is a star, and to the next planets, is there something? Now, here on Earth, there's the atmosphere, there's air, but then after that, what happens then? What is then in between Moon and Earth? And that looks empty. We can see no light, and there is no air to carry sound waves. The air would carry sound waves. Now, sound is just basically like actually a wave in the ocean, on the lake or the sea. It's just water pushing forward, air pushing forward. And if there's air, then the sound can push forward. And there are vocal cords in the thorax. No, not in the thorax. There are vocal cords in the voice box. What is the place? In the larynx. And these are muscles, and they are going back and forth. Like if you contract a muscle very hard, then it's also a little bit contracting, a little bit. And basically like that. And these muscles are then moving the air from left to right, and that in a specific, very precise way, that it moves the air then also a little bit. And when the air molecules, air consists out of something. We can breathe it in. So there is something, and there's oxygen, and it pushes then other molecules forward, and then more and more and more. And then it goes like a wave, like in the ocean, over to something else, maybe to another person. When it comes to the ear, and in the ear it goes then in, and there is a big thing to take the vibrations. It's actually not big. And the waves coming then against it, they're pushing then against it, and it moves them back and forth. And the back and forth moving, and of that thing that catches it, is actually pretty much like such a book. And that sends them to the brain, hey, we were pushed in, and then back, and then saying, another sound wave hit me, and another one. That happens very fast, thousands of times per second. We were hit another time, maybe vis-a-vis 50 hertz, kilohertz. No, that happens very fast. And the brain says then, I got 20,000 times that and that and that, and calculates then around and says, I know that. The last time someone, that to humans of years, they learned it then, and now the brain says, if you're having 20,000 times that sound, 20,000 little waves like that, that was the word book. Because the word book has other sound waves than the word paper. Paper has other sound waves than book, and the human brain gets then from its eardrum all these movements. And now when I have got 20,000 like that, not 15,000, so that it was not paper, but it was book, I have heard just book. And it works only because the air is there. Only because the air is pushing to the next place, the sound can move. Now in the space, there's no air, and the sound wave cannot move. So sound can be technically made, but the sound cannot propel forward. Because there's no air to push it forward. Like a wave, the wave cannot run further on the beach, there's no water anymore. And now these vocal cords, these muscles which are pushing the air forward, cannot push air forward if there is no air in space, and they cannot go to the next person over to the eardrum and then make these electrical impulses in the brain very little, very fast. It goes very, very fast. And then the brain would know what it is, but sound waves do not work in space. Now, is it now empty there between the stars and the galaxies? It looks empty. And there's also no air. So sound waves cannot be carried. And we cannot see light. It's just dark there. So even a huge blast in space would be silent. So I mean, even if there's a big explosion, whatever, a volcano somewhere erupting on some planet, it would be silent. Or if someone would be working on a spaceship on the ISS and working with a hammer and putting a name. If someone would be a workman making the metal things noise, no one could hear it because the hammer would hammer onto the nail, but no sound can happen. Normally, the hammer hitting it would make waves also in the air, very loud, basically. And that cannot happen. Waves never stop. Like if you, yes, it never happens. So if there would be a blast, an explosion, no one could hear it. Is it now empty? Still with the question. But in fact, much of the matter in the universe is not part of stars or planets. Okay, we're talking now about matter, so we're making a big jump in complexity what we're explaining here. Now, to say it bluntly, I don't understand it. There is matter, there is something, but it is not in the stars or planets or in the galaxies. No, there is something, is what we're saying. Yes, there is something. It is found between them as gas and dust. Now, is it now they're empty? No, I think they mean not. They're not just saying there is some gas and some dust. No, when the astronauts at the ISS, middle of the space, there is something around them, matter. I think that shows the name, but I think that's actually true, because I have no idea what it is. Now, basically, the point is, there is something. But we cannot see it, it's just dark. It is not air, sound is not traveling, it can't be traveling. There is no air, we can't see it. And it's also, it has, you can just move through it without anything. So, there seems to be nothing, but there is something. And all these people, these astronomers, and space scientists, the astrophysicists, all these people together, all the people that are working at NASA and so on, all over the world and other things, the best what we could come up with was to call it matter. And I don't think they are much further with saying what it is. They have some theories about something. Again, as I said at the beginning, I don't really understand it, so there might be a bit more. But as far as I can get, they don't really know what it is. There is matter, they call it just matter, there is something, but we don't know what it is. So to answer the question, yes, there is something, it is not empty, but we have no idea what it is. It is not visible, there's no light, it is not air, and you can just push through it, there's nothing happening. And it seems to be then the task of the people to find out what is it. There are many people all over the world thinking about that and having that as their occupation, as their job, to work and find out what is that. And we try to find it out. So there is something, it is called matter, but it's the task of someone to find out what it is. Now, that was the space science part. If you were here for space science, we go directly to the next part. We're going to do now Wristtraining. If you participate in the Wristtraining, then it's when it's your own risk. We're going to put in steady stance and the arms next to us, hand formed to fists, and we're bringing the fists down, that is the spotlight, and then we're bringing them slowly again up, and again down. Now we are doing 3 rules. The first rule is if you feel pain, then stop immediately. The second rule is that we're going only as far as we can go with a little bit of effort. And our next exercise, fists, and bring them again to the inside and then to the outside, that is the flashlight. And the third rule is that we're not overdoing it. We just want to strengthen, not to exhaust. If you feel like taking a break, do it. We have quite a lot of exercise. And the next exercise, now flat hands and them to the inside, the magician. And now, flat hands, and we're doing the pancake flip up with the hands and crossing it. And now, with long arms out, flat hands, and we're bringing these flat hands down. And again, up the T-Rex in the morning. And now, materials in the gym. You can do it without a tennis ball, then just press onto it. And release. If you do it without one, just make a strong fist. If you do it with one, then press with moderate force on the tennis ball. Release again. And again. And release. And again. Now we've switched. And release. And again. And release. And last time. And now on to the quadrangular castle. I can take both hands with fists out and bring these fists towards each other. And to the outside. And down. To the inside. Now the other way around. And up. And to the inside. Now we'll grab anxious to a fever. Next, you can skip this exercise. Bring the fist down and take a break and press a bit against it. Just pull the way outside. And press one top. And on the bottom. On the outside fist, bring a bit down, press against it. Pull from the outside. Press one top. On the bottom. And we're going on with a cautious big bang. The fingertips of one hand on top of the fingernails of the other hand, and we're opening slowly. And then we're closing again slowly. Now we're switching. And we're opening. And we're closing. And last time. Now we're doing the Basco bridge. Flat hands and bend them at the knuckles. Open again. Bend again at the knuckles. And open. Next exercise, you can skip it again. The frog testing the water temperature. Hands down with flat fingers. And up with strong fists. And down with flat fingers. And up again. And again down. And now the vier dieses nu sind wir direct fists and open them and close them. And now the claw. Flat hands and make close. Hold it and open. And again close. Open and again close. Open, last time. And next exercise. Arms in, strong fists into flexion. And out with long arms into extension with flat fingers. Again in, strong fists into flexion. And out extension with flat fingers. And in, strong fists flexion. And out extension with flat fingers. And the last one. And now the ice axe. Flat hand, bend it at the flat hand, bend it at the knuckles, and press on all four fingers. And the other hand, bend it at the knuckles and press on all four fingers. And the last exercise, the rocket launcher. Long arms, strong fists, and we bring these strong fists again into flexion to the inside, and then to the outside with extension, with flat fingers also. Again to the inside with strong fists into flexion, and to the outside extension flat fingers. And the last one, inside strong fists flexion, outside extension flat fingers. Now we're going with moderate force of the middle part of the lower arm to relax the extension to the toe muscles. It's nice there. And on the other side. And that was the wrist training. I thank you very much, and until next time.